And we're live from Hollywood. It's Free Hollywood Live, the live show where libertarian comrades discuss pop culture, top news, technology, and bullshit with you, the commenters, in the chat. And for you listening to the replay as well, welcome. Darth Yoda.
Yeah, Anarcho Jesus.
How are you, my friend?
Good, good. How are things going over at Tecate Virus Central there?
Well, I have half of China living with me, and we are sanitizing the hell out of this place every day. It's incredible, but we're keeping pretty much Tecate free. My wife was suffering with some sort of flu, but I don't think it was of the Tecate variety.
Just your ordinary swine or bird or whatever the hell else there was.
Right. It was just the typical swine. Oh, you know what? It was just the typical swine flu. She didn't appreciate that. You know what? I upgraded my wardrobe again this week. I need to, yeah, hang on a second. Let me, boom.
Oh.
Yeah, this is more appropriate, I felt.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're
I was missing my 8-bit glasses and my Dookie Rope with the pretentious hipster leather neckband and my Anarchy pendant. Also, my gun. I needed to paint that pink for Women's Month.
well, and what looks like some gold chains too, like your Run DMC in 1986 or something.
That is what we refer to in the industry as the classic Dookie Rope.
Ah, okay.
And you know why they call it a Dookie Rope?
Why?
Because it's about the size of a rope. Oh, my friend, where is justice?
I don't know. Stuck on the Princess cruise ship or something.
Got him in quarantine. Well, I hope he can ninja his way out of quarantine and join us here in the live stream.
Yeah.
He definitely has the link and is invited, but I know he's a working man, unlike yours truly, Anarcho Jesus. I mean, I work. I just don't get paid, per se. Not for that work. I mean, I get paid. No, here's the thing. I work and I get paid, but those two never really come together.
Yeah. It's the old Brezhnev era joke. We pretend to work and they pretend to pay us.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's the Brezhnev. Sorry, it's the I've created this for myself. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, this
Excellent.
is a prison of my own making.
Excellent.
Shortly, if not, we'll just continue on. It's too bad though, because we've titled this show the 2/3 YETI stream.
Yeah, it might be the 100% YETI stream.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think I may have mistitled it. Can I retitle a stream right in the middle of the stream? I'm going to check that out because it looks, well, we're going to give him like 10 more minutes. And if he doesn't show, then we're going to go full YETI. I mean, we are full YETI, but we will make it official. Yes. Yeah, we're still learning the interface here using StreamYard. Now, this is the free version. Yeah, so there's a few things I don't have access to. I just discovered like the background image and things like that. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of which, I need to check the chat comments. See, okay. We're doing fine with 0 viewers right now, so let us continue. Let me.
Well, maybe Monday night isn't as big as Sunday night.
I know, you're probably right about that, and it's not even really Monday night over here in Hollywood land.
Yeah, that's true.
We're just like Monday afternoon.
It's only really turning into Monday night on the East Coast.
And we won't make it a habit, but, with Justice's work schedule and all, is trying to be accommodating and also setting up the YETI.
But yeah, we're still in trial run mode, really, with this anyway. So
yeah. So spent all my time yesterday pretty much setting the studio space up. And so we're just running again, another dry run, so to say. But hopefully we get a few people joining us here in the chat. That always makes things fun and mixes it up a little bit. You know, speaking of chats and comments, I saw Gary Franchi in the comments from one of our previous live streams. I want to give him a shout out. Okay. One of the friends from the old days, back when we used to be active here on YouTube.
All right.
I want to say hello to all the sleeper cells out there as well. Those of you from the Ron Paul revolution that have gone underground and are just waiting to reemerge. I thought you might reemerge and vote for Tulsi Gabbard or something, but apparently that didn't happen.
You alluded to having done the unthinkable and registered as a Democrat.
Well,
did you do that to vote for Tulsi?
I mean, Jesus is typically nonpartisan, but since Jesus also has been, as I mentioned earlier, unemployed, he decided that to live in Hollywood and to work, he had to register as a Democrat.
Good point.
Because he loves the income, and the income has been sparse.
So you can get by with just registering as a Democrat there. So things have actually improved over the decades, whereas, you know, at one point you actually had to register with the Communist Party USA.
Is that right?
Yes, to get by in Hollywood.
Until I guess
until the evil
until
the evil blacklist came along, right?
Wow. You know, I really should watch that movie with Bryan Cranston. I think it was about that. Didn't he do a movie recently about that?
I don't know. I'm sure it's typical, like you know, woe was us. We were you know, the victims of the evil ones who didn't understand.
Yeah, I really need to look into this. I'm sure that Mises, or at least people in the Mises Institute, has done a revised history of McCarthyism.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, McCarthy's underlying thesis has been proven correct for 20 years now, since the Venona documents, the Venona records came out, and so.
But still, to this day, if you were to say that, you're kind of shunned, at least here in Hollywood, still.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And in same fashion, if you had anything to do with the Republican Party at any time in your life, and as those of us that were involved with the Ron Paul campaign had to do, we registered Republican so we could vote for Ron Paul. And for some of us that desired to continue working in the industry, perhaps that made things a little challenging when potential employers would go to Facebook pages and do some searches back in time and find all this Republican promotional material. Well, for the Republican Ron Paul.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because it seems they don't really see Ron Paul like I saw him, as this independent thinker, smartest guy on the stage, libertarian, who has to run as a Republican so that he can actually be relevant in the election campaign.
No, I mean, especially now. I mean, maybe at some point there was some open-mindedness about Ron Paul, but I think at this point he's either A, largely been forgotten in that kind of a crowd, or B, is just lumped into anybody who's vaguely to the right of Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. No, it's really weird to me as well, because I do recall in the early days, a lot of the people I was working with being kind of on board with Ron Paul, at least the message that he was bringing, the things they heard him saying, and
Absolutely.
The debates and things. And you know, they were kind of on board. Like, I was working in a major studio and I had a Ron Paul placard on my wall, and the executive producer bringing celebrities through and introducing them to me, and would just say, yeah, you know, and this is Anarcho Jesus, and he's a libertarian. You know, he wouldn't say Republican.
There were tons of people, especially in LA, who got into the Ron Paul grassroots from the left. A lot of those people are Bernie supporters now, but that's fine in a way. This is kind of like the good, open-minded left. You know, the people I'm thinking of are more, you're just, like I call them, basic liberals, who believe in Russian conspiracy theories and think, everybody is part of the conspiracy right now. They're basically, your Alex Jones liberals who are now supporting Joe Biden unironically. These aren't by and large, these aren't the people who came into the Ron Paul scene from the left. They, are either sitting this one out, or they're Tulsi supporters, or they're, even Bernie supporters.
And you don't think any of them supported Trump?
I don't know. I wonder if I can't think of anybody who came into the Ron Paul grassroots out of the left who ended up supporting Trump. Off the top of my head, no. That doesn't mean they don't exist, but I can't think of any people who I personally know, at least off the top of my head right now.
I had a real big Bernie supporter 3 years ago tell me, if Hillary pulls this crap on Bernie and steals his nomination, then I'm going to go vote for Trump. And I think there was some of that sentiment 3 years ago, but now I don't see a whole lefties voting for Trump. It's like Scott Adams says, you're not really trying to win the other side at this point. You're just really trying to shore up your base. And if you can do that, then you're already ahead of the game in 2020. Because look at what's happening to the Democrats. I mean, this is I just became a Democrat and I already want out. I mean, this party is in shambles.
Yeah, what's going to happen? Are Bernie supporters just going to stay home? Kind of keeping it, semi-personal for a moment. In the industry, at least are you seeing more of a Biden support in this kind of, we need to just get rid of Trump? I mean, fuck it, support Biden kind of mindset? Or are you seeing a more just hardcore Bernie mindset? And if there's a hardcore Bernie mindset out there, what are people gonna do if Biden gets the nomination? What kind of sense are you getting?
I can't really speak for people in my industry since I haven't really been so active in it for a couple of years. But I can give you an observation that I made as a first-time Democrat voter in the primaries, and basically there was only one polling place in my area here in the Deep Valley, and I drove by around 3:00, and the line was down the street, and I thought to myself, there is no way in hell I am standing in that line. I don't care who I'm voting for, except for maybe if it were Ron Paul. If it were Ron Paul, I would definitely, I probably would have been the first one in the line. But the thing is, I'm Anarcho Jesus. I don't vote, okay? But I made a promise you'd vote for Trump back then. I told her, well, you know what? Because you did that, I'm going to go vote for Bernie Sanders. As a first-time Democrat voter, because you did that. And she said it made her cry, So I passed by at 3:00 and just kept on driving and went home and thought, polls are open pretty late, like 8:00. So yeah. I'm just going to show up like at 7:50. And I'm sure there'll be a few bystanders and tricklers here and there, but I should be able to get in a little bit quicker than standing in that horrible line. And sorry to disappoint you, by the way, because I know when I just dropped that bombshell that I was going to pull the lever for Bernie, you were crushed, right?
Well,
I felt that. I felt that. You were crushed. You were wrecked in that moment.
I would be crushed and wrecked if you did for Biden or one of hadn't all the other ones dropped out by Super Tuesday? No, other than Tulsi. I mean, Biden and all the mini Bidens.
Yeah, they've all thrown their support to Biden.
Yeah, Bloomberg
was
told
to do.
Still in there as of Super Tuesday, so you could have voted for Bloomberg. But so I would have been crushed and wrecked if you had done that. I'm not crushed and wrecked about Bernie. My feelings about Bernie are complicated as they are, about Trump, and for ultimately some of the same reasons. Had I voted, which I did not, I would have voted for Tulsi in the Democratic primary. But
You didn't
Voting is
vote.
aggression.
You didn't vote.
Kidding, kind of.
You did not fulfill your patriotic duty.
No, I did not aggress.
You are a bad American.
When's the last time I aggressed? I aggressed in the 2016 election. I did not in the midterms.
Did you write in Ron Paul in 2016?
No, I wrote in Ron Paul one of the years, at least one of the years he was in the primary, but not in 2016.
What did you do in 2016, if you don't mind me asking?
I voted against Hillary.
That's great. That's what I did too, I think. I can't even remember who I voted for, but I voted against Hillary. Yeah. I think I might have voted. Well, I can't even say it. I don't want to put that out in the universe, but yeah. I think basically I voted for the name that shall not be mentioned.
Yeah, the name that shall not be mentioned. Because
I can't even think of that, or I mean, it can't even enter my thought. Like, it's impossible at this point.
What a horrifying thing to do. I mean, especially since I had a long track record of throwing my vote away. Finally voting for a major party candidate. I mean, that's the real offense that I committed.
Oh man, I remember like Stefan Molyneux going off on voting back in the early days, and it was like one of his most wild-eyed, crazy videos. Like, I tried to show this one to my brother, and that like totally turned him off to anarcho-capitalism because he was like, "This guy's crazy." But yeah, it was basically making the strong case for what you just said, you know, aggression and all. You know, it's like, and the other part of his argument was, have a little more self-respect. Don't do that to yourself. Don't degrade yourself like that.
Yeah, I've always gotten the Stefan argument, and you know, I obviously was being semi-ironic with the voting as aggression thing because that's a popular hardcore AnCap phrase. Well, but yeah, I did go for the lesser of two evil arguments in 2016.
Well, it's funny how things change over time, because that was back in 2008 when Stefan's making, you know, during Ron Paul's first run, when Stefan's making the don't degrade yourself by voting argument. Whereas in 2016, he's basically making some of the definitive videos on the internet defending Trump. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how things change.
Does Stefan Molyneux, does he even really consider himself an AnCap anymore? I remember he had some video that was called his breakup letter to libertarianism.
That's right. That's right. Well, I mean, I can't speak for him, of course, but from what I know, he would say, call me whatever you want to call me. I'm a philosopher, you know, reason and evidence. I identify as a libertarian kind of thing, but other people may not see me that way. And by the way, that's kind of the way I feel too. I've had my confrontations post Ron Paul with libertarian comrades that are not on the stream or should be here. But
we wish they were here. We miss them dearly.
We do. We miss them dearly. Justice, wherever you are, my friend, because now I can see the time is drawing nigh.
Yeah.
3:30. I think you needed to be to work by 4, or at least leaving the house by then. So I'm giving up hope. Should I rename this thing? See if I can rename this stream right here, right in the middle. Okay, we're no longer the 2/3 YETI stream. I might have to change the thumbnail later too, because I added a YETI mic that was like 2/3 colored. Here we go. I think I can change it. Here we go. Save changes. Boom.
Done. Yeah, I don't have the YouTube stream open.
Oh, you can't actually see it, can you?
No. All I can see is like Free Hollywood Live, Tecate at the top, and then ...
And then ... Yeah. Okay. That's what I see too. I just changed it to the Tecate Flu and the full YETI stream. So,
okay.
Yeah. Maybe by the time we have Justice join us, it will continue to be a full YETI stream.
Nice.
Need to get him plugged up. I think last time he just used his laptop mic that's built into the laptop, which was fine. Yeah, and my mic was fine too, but I listened to the stream from last time, at least a few minutes of it, and my God, you sounded like, I mean, you had the big PP voice, dude. It was amazing.
Well, now
Next
we
to
both
mine.
do.
Now we both, I don't know. I can't really hear my voice, but I look forward to listening back and to see how it compares, how our settings, compare and things, measuring sizes, basically. I mean, gain. I want to see where do you set your
Sick
gain?
gains.
Sick gains. I just have mine set in the middle just because I don't know what to do. But we'll see how it sounds later on. Oh, man. Hang on a sec. Where are we at? What's going on? What's going on, man?
What's going on?
The CV problem. The
Damn.
thing that shall not be named.
Yeah, crypto is not a safe haven after all.
Is it crypto time?
Gets slaughtered with the rest of the market. The only thing that's up today is like gold is up like a teeny bit today, but even silver got kind of slaughtered too.
My God, I need to
Silver
check. Silver
was down 2% today. Gold was technically up fraction of a percent, but I guess in today's bloodbath, that's something to be happy about.
Yeah, man. Going sideways in a down market is like going up.
Yeah.
And Peter Schiff ought to be super happy right about now. You know what I mean? Like in Ron Paul and G. Edward Griffin. Mm-hmm. And I mean, all those old gold bugs, boy, I bet you they're just like really, really enjoying watching this train wreck of a market happen.
Oh, well, all the old gold bugs have been right all along. I mean, we've all known that. It's just I want the crypto bugs to be right too.
Well, and that was the thing, because for a time and at certain times, it seemed as though you could move your money into Bitcoin as a safe haven as the markets were softening up. But this time around, it's, that the case is becoming a little bit weakened, I would say, as the market and crypto just moves right together. And I mean, not perfectly together, but the general direction is together. We're not talking about a non-correlated asset when the price is moving together.
Yeah. Although I know you had the view that there was a CME gap to fill at 7,700. So, I'm just pulling this out my ass. Maybe we're still okay because it didn't go and crash under that if it really was correlated, it would have, we'd be, at 7,000 right now.
Well, it's certainly
that's not my actual view. I am just like looking for some bullshit hopeful theory out there someplace.
That's very Yoda of you, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, man, the market, the stock market got wrecked a lot harder than crypto so far, though. So that's one thing. And there in the stock market was dropping, and gold also was dropping at the same time, simultaneously.
Yeah, it did.
So there are anomalies. It isn't a perfect pattern that we're seeing, a perfect non-correlation, correlation. So I think the jury may still be out.
That's true. Okay, so just pulling up briefly, S&P is down about 7.5% today. It was. Bitcoin last 24 hours is down a little over 5%, as is Ethereum. So relative safe haven, we're down 5% instead of 7.5%. I don't know.
Hey, man, some people don't make 2.5% a year.
Yeah, this is true. So
okay,
we can be happy about that. I mean, maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but I guess
maybe it's a stretch.
We should be happy about sideways gold then.
Yes, indeed. Well, Tom Vase this morning on his live stream said, or maybe it was yesterday, but either way, he said, if Bitcoin were to pull back to below 6,000, and if gold were to go to all-time highs, and if these things happened around the same time, he would sell all of his gold coins and buy Bitcoin.
That's a lot of ifs.
I know, right? And these things don't typically tend to work out the way you planned. I mean, I had the plan that I could sell Apple shares for the exact same dollar amount that I could buy Tesla shares for. And for a time, it was true. Like if you had done that during that time, it would have happened. And so once I saw that that was possible and I put it in my head that that's what I was going to do, it never happened again. Never happened again. But I did sell some Apple and buy Tesla.
Just like I had the 420 Tesla in my head, and 620 Tesla is the new 420.
Wow, Elon changed the game once again. He made 420 to be 620. Take that, stoners.
Yes.
It's like you're going to have to wait a little bit later in the day before you anyway. Yeah, man. Are you going to ever pick up any shares of Tesla? What if it drops back to 420? Is that about a good enough price for you to
I mean,
I was telling you to buy
saying
200. You couldn't be convinced. What changed?
I don't know. FOMO. But at least I haven't actually FOMO'd into it at 900 or something. So.
Right. That's true. You know, when I first got into Bitcoin, I really missed my chance to buy the top. It was a real shame. I had all the money that I wanted to spend on Bitcoin. I just Coinbase's inefficiency made it too difficult to get the money on the exchange in time for me to actually buy the $20,000 top. Because if Coinbase had been a bit more efficient and I could have got my money over there faster, I guarantee I would have bought it. So I was happy in retrospect about their inefficiencies and all the complaining I was doing in the beginning, because I ended up not being able to buy until like 13,000 in the beginning.
Good.
You know, and it's been a painful 3 years ever since. You know, a bit of buying and selling, lowering the cost basis and so forth. But for the most part, I'm just hodling on, my friend. As we all should be doing.
As we all are, yeah.
You know, I mean, I would say as we all should be doing. You say as we all are, but I beg to differ. I mean, I've watched those level 2 order books. Not a whole lot of hodling going on there, that's for sure. I mean, my God, the way the market swings and moves, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it was the thing that got me into it in the first place. I knew of Bitcoin back in, well, I mean, from the beginning, really, but because remember in our meetups, we used to talk about Bitcoin and say, you know, a future competing currency. Ron Paul used to talk about competing currencies. We thought, wow, this is like a new thing. It could in the future be some legitimate competing currency. And we would, you know, bring it up in meetups and so forth. And it didn't occur to me for like another, you know, 6 or 7 years to actually invest in this stuff.
Actually buy anything. Yeah.
Right. And in 2014, I was working for this guy.
I
won't mention his name.
We won't mention his name.
Yeah, just not to dox myself. You know, I mean,
future president.
Yes, a future president.
Can we at least say that much?
Indeed, we could. Everything is possible. That's what Bitcoin has taught me.
Yeah,
that's also what the Tesla share price taught me last year. Anything is possible. You know, for a while there, I had to start even considering Morgan Stanley's $10 target. Like is this thing ever going to stop falling? But anyway, what was the point of that? Oh yeah, I was working for this guy.
Bitcoin versus silver decision.
Yes, that's what happened. The check bounced my last week working, and when it all was said and done, there wasn't going to be any money to support that check, not in terms of fiat. So I was given an offer: bag of junk silver or Bitcoin. It was like a $600 payday. Bitcoin was about $600 at that time. I think it was 2014. I didn't know enough about Bitcoin. Had I done a little more research up to that point, I might have been like, yeah, I have a wallet, send it here.
Yeah.
But since I didn't know to do that and I didn't have that, I just said, I'll take the silver. And my wife agreed too. She's like, you know, that's something real. It's tangible.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, if it was 2014, that was 600 on its way down.
Right. It probably would have, if I would have picked that 600 up for the next 6 months, my wife would have been like, man, you're so stupid. Mm-hmm. Look at you. You took this Bitcoin and now it's 300. And
now it's 200.
Look, it's 150. Shit, it's $99. I mean, that's what happened, right? I wasn't paying attention.
I didn't get down that far, but there were definitely...
What was the lowest it went during that time?
I can think
like 200?
I can think of at least one point in early 2016 where it dipped under 200 briefly, and there was a big death of Bitcoin freak out. Overscaling, and so on.
By the way, check out.
But it averaged somewhere in the 200s throughout like all of 2015. To
find out more about the Bitcoin death of Bitcoin, check out bitcoinobituaries.net, I believe, or is it .org?
I'm not sure, but I know what you're talking about.
There's over 300 cases of Bitcoin dying.
Yes.
Where it never actually died. But anyway, you could see it's all documented there.
Yeah. But anyway, so
it didn't die.
I totally understand.
$200. I mean, that's where Ethereum is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you ever kicked yourself for not buying Bitcoin at $200, why aren't you buying Ethereum right now? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And it's the same answer for why you didn't buy Tesla at 200, probably. Fear and things. But, no risk, no reward. You got to have faith,
Yeah.
That's the message of Anarcho-Jesus.
Yeah, continuing to accumulate Ethereum here. So
accumulating is good. And they say don't catch a falling knife, but, that's just a matter of your risk tolerance, basically. Like, what's more risky? To accumulate as an asset is falling unreasonably low and becoming way oversold, or waiting for the bounce and trying to chase that sucker on the way up and like freaking out because none of your limits are getting filled because it's rising $1,000 a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we saw happen. That to me seems to be the bigger risk. And that's why I'm holding a big old bag of Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, because, sure, it would have been smarter to sit on dry powder for this last 3 years and wait for this moment right here to buy. But, I'm in my human form right now. I don't have perfect clarity of the future. I have the human brain limitation thing going on. So, and we're all human. So it is human to, we want to be able to predict the future. And it's actually one of the things that's kind of innately designed into us. We're always looking for those patterns and trying to predict the future. It's what's kept us alive on this planet for so long and safe from being eaten by lions and bears. Now we have the cerveza influenza, which is upon us.
Yes.
By the way, it's the problem because that is YouTube's preference, not ours. Not like we're big time monetized or anything, but hey, we at least got to play along.
Yeah, we got to play the game. So we drink Tecates here, not any other popular Mexican beer.
Speaking of products, have you noticed all the normie photographs on Twitter this week of empty store shelves?
Oh my God.
I mean, was this not exactly what we were talking about?
That's what's going to do us in is like, the average idiot is freaking out now. It's not like the actual virus is going to kill us. It's, the supply disruptions based on what every random idiot sees on CNN now.
And this past weekend, it was the toilet paper run.
Yeah.
The run on toilet paper, man. It was like the great run on toilet paper of 2020, boy. We ain't ever seen anything like it.
Last week, it was the bottled water run. And then over the weekend, everybody, for some reason, went to get toilet paper. I mean, did did the Wendy Williams show or something tell everybody that the Tecate virus was going to cause a toilet paper shortage?
Oh man, definitely something. Someone on The View mentioned that or something, man. Oh God. This is where this is Trump's biggest strategic error I've ever seen him make so far, by the way, in my opinion.
What's that?
He's been mostly in denial about this thing, and I think it's a strategic mistake because the run on toilet paper could have been prevented if a month and a half ago, like you and me, when we were on this live stream, we're telling people, there may be a problem here. We don't know how serious it's going to be, but calmly go to the store and begin stocking up on supplies. Don't panic. Mm-hmm. Don't freak anyone out. Just buy an extra case or two of water. Buy an extra roll of toilet paper or two. Actually, the toilet paper thing kind of got me last week when everyone was running out for water. It had dawned on me I have enough water to last the rest of the year, but we ran out of toilet paper here with 6 people in the house. And I'm like, oh shit, what if there's no toilet paper? I immediately ran to Costco and bought as much as I could. So we're set. We're all set now. We're all good.
Good.
And at that time, that was 3 weeks ago. It was at that time. And by the way, it's been a month since we've met together here for the live stream.
Oh, Justice just popped up and said,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Woo!
There he is. All right.
Hey, do you have audio? Yeah, I hear you.
Good.
Excellent, man. Welcome. How much time do you have?
Got Justice doxing himself there, and no YETI, but it's still good to have you.
Oh yeah,
you guys sound great though.
Oh, thank you. Well, you have to join us. So we're back to I got to change the name again. Hang on.
All right. Yeah. So we're talking Tecate virus.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So all the normies are freaking out now, huh?
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. The great toilet paper shortage of 2020.
Okay, we're officially the 2/3 YETI stream again.
Well, at least we don't buy all of our toilet paper from China.
It'd be already laced with the stuff.
No, I wasn't meaning that. I mean, I've been looking for respirators for a while, and most of those are made in China.
Right.
They're already consuming 100% of what they could produce, apparently.
So as you know, I have half of China living with me, and the people in my family, my in-laws, they basically say that, these idiots created a population-destroying virus, and they didn't bother to create a vaccine for it. The fucking hubris, to quote Picard. And here we have this Chernobyl, maybe worse than Chernobyl scale event, not just localized to an area, but spreading across the world because of the hubris. It's incredible. Now, who knows what really happened, but to the Chinese, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care what the news media here in America is saying. I'm not listening to it. We haven't been listening to it this whole time.
Yeah,
all the advice we've given on this live stream over the past 2 to 3 months has been based on information we're getting directly from China, from the news that's being piped into my house through cell phones, through WeChat. And
exactly. Social media from real people on the ground, not news as in the state-run Chinese communist media or something either.
Exactly.
I haven't been following the mainstream media at all, at all. So I don't know what they're saying about this. Are you guys at least aware of what kind of hype is being generated by the media?
They finally woke up to it 2 months late, but I can't hardly blame them. Even the Libertarians were denying it at first over on Luke. You know what I mean? Denying this thing before you have sufficient information, because in the past, things might have been faked. That's why I call it libertarian. It's kind of like, you know, the opinion, well, that, okay, America didn't go to the moon back in the 60s. Therefore, the space station doesn't exist. Libertarian.
Well, the moon does not exist.
I'm surprised you're not calling them libertarians. I'm surprised you're not calling them libertarians.
What was that?
I'm surprised you're not calling.
Oh no!
Oh no! Did we lose him?
You froze up on us for a second there, man. I was afraid we lost you. You're back. Say it one more time.
I'm surprised you're not calling them libertarians.
I am. That would don't make me call you one. It's definitely libertarian. That's the name. That's the term. And you know, it's like saying, because the government lies to us and steals our taxes, therefore they're also lying to us about the shape of the earth. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
There is no earth.
Like the no moon theory?
What? No, we're living on a hologram? Actually, I mean, look, I can't say you're wrong. I mean, you know, as Anarcho-Jesus, I'm the Lord and Savior of pop culture. I can't really say too much about the physics of the universe per se because of my limited human brain. You're going to have to ask my father about that one. But in my opinion, you know, we might be in a simulation.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
It's just an opinion. I mean,
yeah.
Every time I ask Dad about it, he's all like, son, quit asking me stupid questions. So, you know, I just got to figure it out for myself, I guess is what that means. So, well, that's what Romans 1:20 says, by the way. Figure it out for your own stupid self.
Oh, really? Oh, didn't know that one.
I mean, that's paraphrased. Like the Living Bible, I think, says that. But what does it say? It says you can know all about God and the Godhead and everything, all the way down to his very essence, just by observing nature, the things that he made.
Oh, okay. So natural revelation. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, by the way, in what scenario, you guys probably already discussed this, but in what scenario would there be that we would need a stockpile of water and toilet paper? I mean, obviously, quarantine would be the reason, right? Otherwise, you run out of things.
Yeah,
but water, I mean, we're always going to have tap water. I mean, things would have to get really bad.
Especially in LA.
Huh?
I said, especially in LA. I mean, the water here is horrible. Like I tried to drink water out of the tap when I first moved here, just because you could do it in Louisiana. And holy crap. I mean, it just, the lead that coated my throat, I could feel it.
Ew.
It was horrible.
God.
That was one and only time I ever tried that. Yeah. I think if memo comes down from our perfect masters that we're not, look, I mean, this isn't China. I doubt that they're going to be declaring martial law like they've done in certain places.
They have in Italy now.
Oh, have they? Well, maybe it will happen here. I mean, look, they have a FEMA camp set up right just a little ways from here. It's called the Burbank Airport. It's clearly a FEMA camp. Just take a look. And I'm not even joking, people. The railroad tracks go right into it, and the barbed wire faces in. Anyway, we are talking about a situation where that could happen, but I just don't. I mean, I'm really hoping it doesn't come to that. What I see happening is the government will issue the memo, and there may be regulatory requirements to close restaurants and to cancel certain public gatherings and things, but mostly going to be like a voluntary, like, you know, keep to yourself, keep to your home and things. And this is going to change culture, I think, forever. I don't see a
There's a bar I'm a member of.
Oh, what's that?
It's like a membership only kind of a bar.
Oh, really?
And they actually shut down operations until further notice because of the coronavirus.
I mean the what? The Tecate what? The Budweiser what?
Modelo?
Tecate, yeah. Sorry. I forgot. I didn't get the memo. I forgot the memo.
You don't always get the memo, but when you do, you drink Negro Modelo. I don't know.
By the way, that's Dos Equis.
Dos Equis, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of it, but wasn't that the guy that originally inspired your hairstyle, Roger? The most interesting man in the world?
No.
I do recall. No, because you had the long hair. It's documented. It's in one of our videos. Go check the epic.
Yeah, his name was Wooster.
Okay. It wasn't him, but it was someone that looked like him.
I mean, he had gray hair.
Yeah, it was. Okay, it wasn't him. I'm wrong.
Wooster, Nick Wooster is the guy's name.
Hey, look. Jesus can admit when he's wrong. Okay, see. And I'm wrong a lot. I mean, not in my divine self, but in the human side. You know, I've explained it before. Anyway, yeah, I remember in that video what I'm calling the epic, because we never did really make the epic that we were planning to make, but that was the closest thing. And it was the video, if anyone listening wants to check that out on the replay, it's called Anarchy Popcorn and the Rebel Yell. Yeah, you can look that up on our channel. Oh, Freedom Friday, Anarchy Popcorn and the Rebel Yell. It's the subtitle.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you had a picture of Nick Wooster in that.
yeah, because you had your long hair and you're like, yeah, I'm thinking of getting my hair cut like this guy. And we pulled up a picture and it's in the video. And I remember it looked like the Dos Equis guy. I thought that's who it was. But yeah.
Wow, it was a very historic video.
And look, the hair has like pretty much stayed. I mean, not exactly the same. It's evolved. Gotten a little shorter on the sides over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you've pretty much stuck with it ever since.
Yeah, I've been thinking about changing it, but
Are you? Well, I was thinking about cutting off my glorious locks and going to a more Nazi kind of style myself. Not that I'm calling your style a Nazi style. Just everyone on the left is. The far left.
Yeah, I think most people that are radical leftists have like longer, messier hair. I think that's like the look.
Yeah, dude.
Have like a tight.
Far out. Talking about me again. Well.
Okay. Oh, because you have long hair in your avatar?
Indeed. In the avatar. Indeed. What? You don't think I'll dox myself? You don't think I'd show my face?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think I'll do it? I'll do it right here and now, man. I'll show my face right here and now. Hang on. You don't think I'll dox? Here, let me get my earphones on. All right. Let's see. How do I go full stream? Full screen? Me? Full screen? All right. Now how do I turn on my camera?
Divine powers are not what they're alleged to be.
Let's see.
I think there's some links at the bottom of the screen that says stop cam. Yours probably says start cam.
Okay. I tried. I was going to dox myself.
Yeah, nah, don't do it.
You don't want me to do it?
Okay. Hey, are we discussing? That's pretty awesome. Hey.
What's up, guys?
Is it like is that a digital thing?
What, my sunglasses? Yeah, they're 8-bit.
Or is it paper? That's paper.
Here's the YETI, by the way.
Nice. You've got the full setup put together. Like, I'm being lazy and just taking the microphone and plugging it into my laptop rather than actually having something looking like a legitimate studio set up.
Uh-oh.
Somebody just doxed himself in the background.
Uh-oh.
Shit. How do you turn this off now? Stop camera.
There.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, but anyway, I just I thought, even though we have nobody in the chat interacting with us whatsoever, and our subscribers are falling off by the day, I'd just gone ahead and do the face reveal now. Usually people wait till like 1 million subscribers or something to get that done, but I figured today was the day.
Cool.
All right, so don't give me too hard of a time now that y'all know who I am. I really do need to set up a Anarcho Jesus Twitter.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, we'll do that for next time. Okay, we have a fourth in the stream, I hear, of the feline variety.
Oh, you heard him?
Sounds cute.
Yeah. Local anarcho kitty.
Oh, we had a freedom kitty back in the day. Remember that? Remember,
That's
she
right.
showed her
Yeah.
starfish. We're like, that's going to be our 1 million viewed video.
Yeah.
Look at that starfish. Oh, we got to find that clip. It still exists somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Man.
Yeah, I have it all.
Now, Justice used to be a manager over at Costco. Have you ever seen anything like this? This toilet paper run? I mean, it's incredible, right? Now, this is what we were talking about a month ago. We were saying, like, you want to buy this stuff before that happens. See, now, if you're thinking about doing it, might be a bit too late, especially if you live in an urban area. Mm-hmm. Here's another thing that dawned on me. I've been sanitizing doorknobs every day with those Clorox wipes. And it occurred to me that our smartphones are an extension of our hands. And if we're going to wash our hands, we need to also sanitize and wash our smartphones, because we're picking them right back up. And if there's germs on the phone, we're just dirtying our hands again. Mm-hmm. So, those sanitizing wipes I found to be really helpful. You clean off doorknobs around the house, especially if you're sharing a house with 6 million Chinese like me. And then while you have the sanitizing wipe, you just use it to do your phone real quick, and you're all set for a little while. You know, at least once a day. That's what I've been doing. Any other tips you guys have come up with? Too. Oh, your steering wheel in your car. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Any other tips you guys have kind of come up that's not your typical standard run-of-the-mill stuff? How about we cover the run-of-the-mill stuff real quick? I think as a public service to our listening audience, the 0 viewers that we have tuned in right now in the chat, and all of those listening in the replay right now, especially for those of you listening in the replay, this is for you. I've got something to read to you right here.
You're going to read that thing?
I am. This is something that was sent by Justice. Dear colleagues, this is... Is it something you can pull up on the screen? I've got it on my phone. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, but you're right. But just listen in. I'll just read it. Dear colleagues, this Stefan Molyneux, perhaps read a version of this or a variation of this. So the colleague of Justice from the medical industry that sent this to him may have got it from somewhere else too. I don't know, but it's definitely getting around. But I thought I deleted everything. Never mind. Here we go. All right, here we go. Dear colleagues, as some of you may recall, when I was a professor of pathology at the University of California, San Diego, I was one of the first molecular virologists in the world to work on Tecate viruses in the 1970s. I was the first to demonstrate the number of genes the virus contained. Since then, I have kept up with the Dos Equis flu field and its multiple clinical transfers into human population, such as SARS, MERS, Swinezilla, from different animal sources. The current projections for its expansion in the U.S. are only probable due to continued insufficient worldwide data. But it is most likely to be widespread in the U.S. by mid to late March and April. Here is what I have done in the precautions that I take and will take. These are some of the precautions I currently use during our influenza season, except for the mask and gloves. Number one, and here we go, people. And I heard Stefan Molyneux say this is one that should have disappeared with the Middle Ages. No handshaking. By the way, did you know that Trump he's been adverse to shaking hands all of his life? It's just a little factoid. I used to be a big fan of The Apprentice and little things like that you get. It says use a fist bump, slight elbow, slight bow, or an elbow bump, etc., instead of shaking hands. That will, that alone, if everyone just did that, that would stop the transmission of things right away. That'd make a huge difference.
That is a good point.
Number two, and I would add to that just what we already said, to make sure to wash your smartphones with a sanitizing wipe every day. Your smartphone is an extension of your hands. They need to be wiped too. Wiped? Your smartphone is an extension of your ass. It needs to be wiped as well. Number two, use only your knuckle to touch light switches, elevator buttons, etc. Lift the gasoline dispenser with a paper towel or use a disposable glove. Or, like myself, if you drive an electric car,
never get gas again.
Exactly, my friend. That's one way. But you'd still have to charge at a supercharger in the public from time to time. I wear driving gloves. It doesn't make anyone panic. It looks normal. If you want to make people panic, just start wearing latex gloves and a mask everywhere you go. But that's going to happen eventually anyway. I never did get to my point. I think this is going to be with us. This is going to be with us. It's going to be like the cold or the flu as we know it. It's just going to be a thing that's with us, probably, is what's going to happen. All right, number three. Open doors with your closed fist or hip. Do not grasp the handle with your hand unless there is no other way to open the door. I mean, you can also grab with kind of like your palm, like the side of your hand or your palm rather than your fingers. Just because you're less likely to touch your eyes or mouth with your palm than you are with your fingers. Especially important on bathroom and post office and commercial doors. I did have to go to the post office once. I kept my hands tucked in my jacket pocket the entire time. I did not touch anything or anyone. And I just sent the letter. I used my own debit card. I had to touch the debit card machine though. But I had a sanitizing wipe that I used right after I walked out of the room. So keep sanitizing wipes in your car. That may be on this list coming up. Let's continue. Number four, use disinfectant wipes at the store when they are available, including wiping the hands and child seats in a grocery cart. And these all are really, you would think, common sense stuff. It's good to be reminded. But if you really are honest and ask yourself, how often do you do these things? Probably not that much. You know these things. Now it's time to start doing them. Number five, wash your hands with soap for 10 to 20 seconds and or use a greater than 60% alcohol-based hand sanitizer whenever you return home from any activity that involves locations where other people have been. Number six, keep a bottle of and this is what we were talking about. Keep a bottle of sanitizer available each of your home entrances and in your car for use after getting gas and touching other contaminated objects when you can't immediately wash your hands. Yes, so I have a bag of sanitizing wipes in my car that I wipe my steering wheel with it in my hands as I'm driving, and then I'll just kind of keep it in my hand as I go into public places. And if I'm using the ATM, I'll use my knuckle. If I have to touch something, I'm wiping my finger immediately. Number seven, if possible, cough or sneeze into a disposable tissue and then discard. Use your elbow only if you have to. Elbow? Yeah, kind of like your shoulder or arm sleeve, I think was the thing. You know, when we were kids, they had the PSAs and taught us to sneeze into our hands, you know, to cover your mouth and but then like I noticed a few years ago, they changed that and had a public service announcement about coughing into your arm sleeve. And now that's the standard. And in fact, if you see someone coughing or sneezing into their hands, that's like a big social faux pas now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it's not a big one, but it will be. It will be. You see someone sneezing into their hands and then they're touching door handles. You're thinking, here's a person not thinking it through. This is the reason why we're all going to die. Well, we're not all going to, but there is a potential that we all get infected. That is a potential outcome here. But so far, it seems like 90% survival rate, which is a good thing. But 10%.
I always heard it was like 1.8% fatality rate. So it was a huge jump.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure your sources versus mine. Yeah, maybe it could be. I'll have to double check on that. Maybe I've added weight to the data. But I thought it was just like a 10% so far of those reported. Yeah. Go ahead and fact check that, please. But the point is, it was already a lot higher than any other of the variations that were previously mentioned as far as the mortality rate. So that's not good news. But those that do survive this thing will basically be immune or stronger for it, kind of thing. Okay, that was the end of the official ones. And then there's a addendum here about latex gloves that was mentioned. The addendum says latex or nitrile latex disposable gloves for use when going shopping, using the gas pump, and all other outside activities when you come in contact with contaminated areas. Note, the varicella is spread in large droplets by coughing and sneezing. This is actually the really important part right here, because there's a lot of mystery surrounding how is this thing transmitted? Is it you're in the room with a bunch of people breathing and that's all it takes? Not really. This virus is spread in large droplets by coughing and sneezing. This means that the air will not infect you, but all the surfaces where these droplets land are infectious for about a week on average. Everything that is associated with infected people will be contaminated and potentially infectious. The virus is on surfaces, and you will not be infected unless your unprotected face is directly coughed or sneezed upon, or if you pick something up on your hands and put it into your face, which is the more likely scenario. Touch a door handle, get something on your hand, rub your eye, you're infected. Well, yeah, you're infected. All right. And look, here's the other thing, and I don't mean to throw any shade, but we were mentioning libertarian things. I mean, to deny viruses and to deny everything that's happening, I'm sorry. I just got to throw that into that category as well. All right. So the thing went on, and stock up with disposable surgical masks, and it's a little late for that now, dude. Stock up with hand sanitizers. I'm just kind of going through this part quick because, yeah, this is a little late. Stock up with zinc lozenges. That's another good one if you can find them. Yeah. All right. That's about it, guys, as far as, yeah, because it's a little late to be telling people to stock up on things. We told you that 2 months ago, people. Sorry. I just feel, fortunate to have had, the Chinese media being piped in. I mean, that really set off my alarm bells early. Yeah, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off, Justice.
I looked it up, and health.com says it has a 3% fatality rate.
3%. Okay. 3%.
Like 2.8.
Could you also look up the SARS, what it was for SARS?
I did not.
Just as a cross reference, because they say that what we have here so far is already a lot worse, but I just wonder how much worse.
This is specifically C19.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And this was like days ago.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it's incredible to see it happening. I was really hoping there wouldn't be any panic or, when 2000. Okay, come on, little walk back in history. You guys were all there. Specifically my comrades, my friends, my libertarian buddies, in 2008, when the financial crisis began to unfold. And I remember going to Costco with my then girlfriend and stocking up on supplies and looking around and kind of laughing and saying, are we overreacting here? Like, it doesn't seem like anyone else is doing this.
Yeah, I don't remember a freak out in 2008 on this level.
No. Well, it was did it for me. Go ahead.
But on the other hand, I mean, it's easier to freak people out over there's a virus than get anybody to understand the Federal Reserve and why the market is tanking. So
that, my friend, that Darth Yoda is an excellent point. Could you say it again? Could you repeat that point?
Well,
he went to the bathroom.
No, I was going to have to close the window, but sit back down and deal with that in a minute.
Yes.
Now, so
Darth Crickets over here.
Darth Crickets, indeed. Now, people are naturally going to freak out more over a virus, something that they understand as a direct threat to their health, than something seemingly more abstract, like, a market falling and understanding the Federal Reserve and everything that's behind that.
Right. There's you got to watch lots of documentaries to really even just scratch the surface on the Federal Reserve topic, and most people can't make it through one of them.
But virus, Dos Equis virus, that hits at those primitive survival structures and networks of your brain a lot more directly than the market is tanking.
But we've seen these, the argument for a while there, we've seen this all before. It never really amounted to much, which isn't entirely true, is it?
No, not entirely, but at least in the Western world, it hasn't been a thing in a long, long time.
Right. And in the Western world, we benefit from a population that is largely immunized. So for me personally, I've never had a flu shot. I hope I never have to have a flu shot, and I never want to have one. But I don't, it's not because I'm an anti-vaxxer per se. Not even per se, man. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. But the thing is, I would definitely be hesitant to give a child something like that for sure. But for myself, I'm not anti-vaccine, And I think in the beginning, there was a lot of doubt and denial. And people would say, this is just another version of the regular influenza. And each year, X number of people die from the influenza. And that number is way less in the United States than this thing so far. So there's nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing to worry about, people. Nothing to see here. Move along. That's what we were hearing 2 months ago, not only on the libertarian sites, but just in general. And you weren't really hearing much. But when you did hear, like, the President of the United States stand up and talk about this issue, it sounds like there's not a whole lot to see here.
Yeah, well, he's trying to, calm people down in that clumsy sort of way that he has sometimes. He likely means well. He's just doing it in his usual clumsy way. You don't think so? You don't think kind of the goal here?
Because even his usual clumsy way actually usually works out for him pretty well. There's only so many times that you can say about a person, they're just super lucky. Every time they take a shit, it turns into gold. There's only so many times you can take a dump and then hear the clink of a gold bar hit the ground behind you and not say, maybe there's something special going on here. maybe this isn't just, you know, the clock strikes the correct time twice a day. You know, I think the man actually does have some skills when it comes to persuasion and things. And it does look very clumsy. I agree, but that's why people like him, it seems. And one of the reasons. And but in this case, this is, to me, it just seems like such a strategic error that it could. I don't think it's going to be enough to lose him the election, but it's definitely something that could move the needle. As far as hurting his, you know, all this talk of a landslide, you know, if there's a window of opportunity and it's right frickin' now. And if he doesn't at some point stand up and be the president of the United States and tell people, like, we're going to get through this thing together.
Right. So you're arguing for the classic look presidential moment.
And it hasn't happened. He says, behind the scenes, we're working on it. We've taken unprecedented action behind the scenes, so don't worry. We got this. Everything is fine. Your government is in control. Is that the message that people want to hear? No, they want to know where they're going to be able to get their next roll of toilet paper from now, because this store shelves are freaking empty and nobody said anything 2 months ago. Sorry, getting a little bit worked up here on this issue. I just, I hate to see it because it's such an obvious oversight. It seems, in my opinion, you know, I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times, but yeah, it just seems to me like what the American people need right now is someone to say, look, don't panic, but prepare yourselves. But instead they're saying you're getting, markets have been higher than ever. Jobs are at an all-time high. We got things on control in the background. And besides, there's really nothing going on. Just a couple of little isolated cases that we have totally and completely quarantined by 5,000 miles of fence. You know, but no, that's not what's happening here. What I believe is happening, like, there hasn't been one case reported in Los Angeles. I guarantee there are thousands of people in Los Angeles with this thing right now.
Oh, I thought there were a couple of cases reported.
Ability to test for coronavirus.
They're not even right. The other thing, yes, they're not even testing for it. 300,
yeah. Like, we don't have the capability to test for it. Like, we don't have test kits. Like, if somebody comes in with flu symptoms to a doctor, doctors don't have the ability to test for it.
China's making us look bad as far as these things. Now, they're doing it in a draconian way. I mean, I saw one of the videos was the most ridiculous thing I ever saw, was workers in an office covered in plastic, like typing away at a keyboard, with some government worker walking through the office, spraying like dragon clouds of disinfectant everywhere, and everyone's just typing away on their keyboards like nothing to see here. It was crazy. But that's what they're doing in China. And what I'm saying is that I'm not saying we need to do that here, but in comparison to what we're doing, like, we're doing nothing. Like, we're doing nothing at all. And when those test kits arrive, whenever they're going to arrive, and when they actually start getting used, I think people are going to be shocked to find out it's not just dozens. It's like going to be hundreds or thousands in their areas that have been already affected by this thing. And because that's the way it was in China when it started early on. And right now we're at that stage where it's, you know, it's no longer denial. I mean, the president can deny all he wants from the stage, but the store shelves are emptying out. So denial phase is over. And like I said, there's a window where he could stand up and be the president, but that window's, it might already be closed at this point. I mean, I think maybe if he did it like now, like right freaking now, like go on the internet live instead of, you know, us having to tell people like that with our 0 people watching right now currently, you know, President of the United States could get up and 1 billion people would hear his voice like in minutes. And you know, I think it could do a world of good. It doesn't always cause a panic to just mention that there's a problem.
With the country as like bitterly divided as it is, I mean, can he even look presidential in this context? I mean, he would look presidential to his supporters, and his enemies would still find a way to hate on him.
Well, that's a good point. Let me suggest that even though things now have been ratcheted up to such a degree that it's hard to be nonpartisan and to come together on things. I recall things being pretty heated during the days of George W. Bush, as far as he didn't have any love on the left either. And I mean, basically, they just considered him an idiot. And when he had the book upside down on 9/11 and things, it just confirmed it. But a few days later, when he stood up as the president and said, the world's hearing us and they're all going to hear us soon. And basically, it seemed like the entire United States came behind him. George W. Bush, like he was able to rally the people's support for a common cause. And now, of course, it wasn't 100%, and I wouldn't expect it to be 100% now.
Yeah.
But if you move the needle like 1%, that's already a miracle in 2020 political climate.
Yeah. So his current Real Clear Politics aggregate approval rating is 44.3%. So that's pretty much unchanged since the last forever at this point.
Okay. Well, let me throw this out as just a wild card curveball. We lost justice.
All right, farewell.
It was time. I guess it was time. Yeah. So what we have is Bernie versus Biden, correct? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yep.
So, I mean, Bernie, he seems to have good energy, a lot better than Biden. He seems to have his faculties a lot better than Biden, but he did just have a heart attack about 3 months ago.
Yep.
Biden seems to be losing his marbles. I think he's clinical at this point. Like, you're only the gaff man for so long until it's no longer funny and you're thinking this guy has a serious problem.
Yeah.
And the people I'm hearing saying that are the ones that should be his most loyal supporters at this time in the election. Yeah.
And I mean, they're trying to run this whole well, he's just stuttering. It's just this or that. And you're a Russian bot probably already if you question the stuttering narrative.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is that right? So if you question why he's stuttering, you're probably in leagues with Putin.
Probably. I'm sure that'll...
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good to know.
Because Bernie is in league with Putin. Putin is both supporting Trump and Bernie. He's probably still supporting Tulsi, for all I know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was supporting Tulsi, according to Nancy Pelosi.
Well, it was according to Hillary.
Oh, it was according to Hillary.
Oh, yeah.
I get those two confused from time to time.
Yeah.
They're both kind of... Well, they have some characteristics that are similar, I'll just say. Leave it at that. And it's kind of similar to the thing we're talking about now, the issue with Biden. There's definitely some marbles loose on the left. And everyone can see it. It's like everyone can see it. It's so weird. They're like rolling out Weekend at Biden's onto the stage, puppeting this guy.
If he gets the nomination, what are these debates going to look like? Well, if he is suffering from something, it's at an early enough stage where I think we've seen that he does still have his good days. He has his good days. He has his bad days. But I wonder what happens if he gets a really bad day on a debate night.
I assume that they're going to be pumping him up with some of the good stuff they were pumping Hillary with on debate night.
Oh, jeez.
For as many times as she had seizures on camera and fell down, she never did have an off night in the debate stage.
Yeah.
I mean, she had to concede a point here and there because Trump had some zingers. But, as we were all waiting for it to happen and it never happened. I think, these people can afford the best drugs money can buy.
Yeah.
And
prop
it's
them up
enough
at
to
least
get
for a couple hours.
Yeah, totally. And so we may not see it. I mean, definitely gaffes and so forth, but I don't know, maybe, he's getting consultation from the same doctor. So I think he'll do okay as far as making it through. I don't think he's going to collapse on stage or anything. But if he does, all things are possible. If he does, and Bernie has already been sidelined, does that open the door for Tulsi? Does that actually crack open the door for this 39-year-old military veteran beauty?
I wish.
To at least be acknowledged on the public stage.
No, I wish, but it's not happening.
Well, I just thought I'd throw it out there to give you some hope.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, coming full circle, I did go back to vote for Bernie at 8:00.
Oh, right. Did you succeed?
Well, the line it was longer. The line was even longer. I couldn't believe it. So I just kept driving. And I think what it is it's like the Bernie mafia. What are they calling these people now, the Bernie supporters? I mean, I was going to vote for him, but I didn't have to because there's a million people there in California already voting for him. So
yeah,
he
won California pretty easily. It wasn't much of a contest.
Yeah. There's no way I'm going to degrade myself to stand in a line to vote. Even though, I had good intentions and I wanted to, be able to wear my little sticker and say I'm a Democrat now. And, maybe my phone will start ringing with work. I was going to post it, like on Instagram. Like, I voted.
Post it. I voted. And
I'm a Democrat. I voted for Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie button, and there you go.
And then all of my colleagues on the left will be like, you voted for what? You basically just gave the election to Trump.
You voted for Putin, basically.
Yeah, you basically just voted for the Russian mafia to run this country. You Nazi. Don't have the haircut yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to vote for Biden, I guess.
I guess so. Oh, man. Jesus. Well, did you want to do a pop culture check-in?
I think we're both pretty behind on pop culture.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still pop culture adjacent. I mean, I'm the Lord and Savior of pop culture, of course. But lately I've been really busy with some other things. So, yeah, I feel like as far as the keeping up with the daily news, I'm just kind of adjacent to it. But, did you hear that Emperor Palpatine is in fact a clone?
No, where's that from?
Yes. There was a Star Wars book, a novelization of The Rise of Skywalker that was released. And in the novelization...
So are any novels that are out right now, they would be considered canon? This is not just...
Right. This would be Disney canon.
Yeah.
Which is not canon.
Yeah. But it's not expanded universe. That's dead. So any novels that are out now are considered part of the Disney canon.
Right. What Disney said in 2015 when they acquired Star Wars, the intellectual property from George Lucas, they stated that all former, what was referred to as EU, that's the expanded universe, not the extra universe, or what I think people get it wrong, is the expanded universe. All of that stuff will now be considered what Disney is recoined as legends, to say these are stories that are stories. They may be true, they may not be true, they may be embellished, they're just legends. And that being the fact, then we can pull from legends as we see fit and utilize from it what we want to. Like, for example, Kylo Ren being somewhat of an amalgamation of Ben Solo mixed with some other character I can't think of right now. But in the EU, there was a Ben Solo, Han and Leia's son, and they've basically taken that character and blended with another character, and given him kind of a tried to give him kind of an Anakin vibe, but it came off more as whiny than anything else. Yeah. But yeah, Palpatine's a clone. And a lot of people had problems with it. But for me, I was a big fan of, and well, I don't know if this was EU specific, because EU, let me ask you this. Was the EU ever canon?
My recollection, I never read a lot of EU stuff. I have a passing familiarity with it, but my recollection is that there were different levels of canon.
Okay.
That, the core canon was the 6 movies. And then, you would have another level maybe outside of that included, I don't know, the the Ewoks cartoon or whatever the hell else.
Yeah. Great example there.
And the holiday special.
Yes. That's canon.
Yeah. And then, you'd have another level that would be this or that comic book and novel tie-ins. And
those are like
so
canon if you want them to be until George says otherwise.
Yeah. So I'm not getting this exactly right, but the overall gist of what I'm saying is that there were several different levels of canon, starting with the core 6 movies, and then things become less definitively canon the further you go out.
But there were things that George never said. Well, sorry for the double negative. George didn't say it's not canon. Therefore, we, the fan base, assumed that it might be canon. Things like the Timothy Zahn trilogy of novels. They weren't ever declared legends until Disney did so. So a lot of people that really loved the Thrawn story felt that was canon. But basically, it's like, okay, you can call it canon, you can feel it's canon until George says otherwise. Because we haven't seen what George's next 3 movies are going to be.
Right. So
we don't know. Maybe it is the Thrawn story. We have no idea. Or maybe it's Dark Empire by Dark Horse Comics. That was the one I was really into. I loved that series. At least the first series. I understand there's a Dark Empire Part 2, which I haven't read. And a lot of fans don't like it as much. And I don't know that there's a lot of fans that like the first one as much as I do. But in this one, Palpatine is a clone. And basically, Disney has ripped that part out of the EU from the Dark Horse book, where it says in the novelization of Rise that when Palpatine was thrown over by Vader, that his essence, his spirit, his Force essence had already departed from the lifeless corpse before it even hit the ground. And that he had been preparing clone bodies for himself, but they were incomplete. And the essence was transferred, but the transfer didn't go well. And that's why in the movie he's all fucked up.
Why he's all he's in like whatever that weird contraption is. I mean, having only seen the movie once, I'm having trouble visualizing it. But yeah, he's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. But he's still Rey's grandfather, so I mean, it begs to question, did Palpatine give Rey's grandmother an outer rim?
Oh, God.
I mean, it's the question everyone's asking. Yeah. I'm just saying it. I'm just putting it into words. Everyone's asking. I mean, you can't hear "You're my granddaughter" without thinking, what the... He did what to who?
No, that's true. I mean, we never saw like in the prequels or anything, we never saw like a wife of Palpatine, did we?
We didn't. And here's the novelization explains that as well. So they've said that basically Palpatine's quote unquote son was a failed Palpatine clone as well.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking like, okay, we never saw, either a wife of Palpatine or children of Palpatine. So we're, skipping a whole generation here to get to Rey.
And they didn't mention anything, not that Disney takes it upon themselves to really mention a whole lot of backstory with this trilogy ever.
Yeah. Just part of the problem with it. Like I want some sense of a backstory in the movies without having to go read like a bunch of novels and things.
Right. It would have been nice to have some little hint as to what's been going on for the last 35 to 40 years. It'd have been nice.
That's partially what The Mandalorian is supposed to accomplish.
Yeah, and it might actually get it done, but this is out of necessity at this point. It wasn't a part of some grand plan, that's for damn sure. I'm sure, maybe I'm wrong. Back in 2015, when they sat down to do this trilogy, maybe they said, you know what? This is what we're going to do. This is a genius idea. What we're going to do is tell a story that are completely disconnected from one another and are done by different people with different visions who are not going to adhere to what either any of the other ones have to do or say in any of their movies. And people are going to love it. We're going to make billions of dollars. You know why? Because none of that matters. We're going to explain it all in a novel afterwards.
And everybody's going to read that novel.
Right, and we'll make another billion.
Yeah.
But it's not really working out that way. What they've kind of done here is they lost half of the fan base with The Last Jedi by subverting hardcore, loyal Star Wars fans who've spent a lifetime of dedication and been inspired by the fourth, basically turned all of them off. And now, with the rise of Skywalker, they've taken all the fans they accumulated with The Last Jedi and turned them off. Because they've retconned things that were happening in The Last Jedi and the new movie. But the new movie accumulated some new fans as well. And what they've done is turned out this novelization, which turns around and retcons stuff that was happening in the movie. Mm-hmm. So now they've managed to lose those fans too.
Yeah, so it ends up nobody being happy with the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, they've done some things right. Star Wars ride over at Batuu West and Batuu East is, the come to Jesus moment for theme park enthusiasts. Mm-hmm. And they've done that right. There's a video game they came out with recently called, I can't remember the name of the game, but the most recent Star Wars game has garnered lots of praise from the fan base. And there was one other thing, The Mandalorian. That's right, Baby Yoda. Baby How could Yoda. I forget? I'm looking right at you.
Staring right at you.
Yeah, man. So, credit where credit's due. But hopefully what this marks, because all of the good stuff that's happening in Star Wars seems to be things that have been delivered just within the last 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. And in the last 6 months, we haven't heard a whole lot from Kathleen Kennedy. And Rian Johnson, whenever asked about his new trilogy, says, "I don't know. Ask Disney. They ain't."
I thought that pretty much wasn't happening at this point. That we're going to have a long break from movies for a while, and they're concentrating on Mandalorian and maybe some other Disney Plus shows.
Well, I was certainly hoping to take a break from Rian Johnson for a while, and they did announce that there would be a break from movies, but it didn't seem like it was one day. I think it happened even before Rise of Skywalker hit the theaters. They were announcing new movies. And I believe the Benioff and Weiss trilogy was announced.
Well, I thought that was dead too.
Well, that is. But I'm going back in time just for a second. Okay. I think it was announced post we're going to dial it back. Like when they had already said we're going to dial it back. Oh, and by the way, we've hired the Game of Thrones guys to make a trilogy. That sort of thing. It's just these mixed messages. They don't have a plan. It's obvious. I mean, everyone knows it. You just look at what they've done. It's so clear. And but what I'm getting at is hopefully it's on the cusp of a power shift or change over at Lucasfilm.
Yeah, we'll see.
If people like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, yes, even Kevin Feige are the people making creative decisions regarding Star Wars moving forward, they may actually have a chance at sanitizing this completely soiled bed.
Soiled with Tecate virus.
It's totally teeming with it, dude. Oh, but yeah. Anyway, I still love Star Wars. I'm hoping for good things. I canceled my Disney Plus just as soon as I realized that I was not going to rewatch The Mandalorian until season 2 was available.
Yeah.
So I've gone ahead and canceled that. It's pretty wild. I've never seen anything like it. Well, I'll take it back. I saw one thing like this once before when I was a kid. Do you remember the Transformers cartoon?
Oh, of course. I think we've talked about this before, the death of Optimus Prime.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Well, they made a movie, a 2D animated movie. I'm not talking about the Michael Bay.
Yeah. Talking about like a cartoon movie.
It was like an anime. It was an
Yeah.
anime style. In fact, I think they hired a Japanese studio to do the animation, and it was all like anime style. It was super cool.
Yeah.
It was back in like 1981 or 2. No, I'm wrong. It's like 80. Might have been 83 or 4. Anyway.
I don't know.
I'll
We'd have to look it up. But
I'll have
it's
to
sometime in the 80s at the height of
Yes,
the Transformers
the
cartoon.
height of Transformers, and the fan base was huge. Like I was a huge fan. I was collecting Transformers. I still have those somewhere. I need to probably start unloading to raise cash during all of this. Anyway, that movie. You talk about subverting expectations, boy. I know that there's not a lot of people that have seen the 1982 or 3 2D animated Transformers movie, but if you were a big fan of characters like Optimus Prime, like Ironhide, like Bumblebee, like Jazz, and all the characters from the original series.
All right, I just looked up 1986.
Man, I was several years off. Okay, 1986. So that movie, if you ever get a chance to see it, and I do highly recommend checking it out, if for no other reason, just to have a good laugh. All these characters beloved by the fans, and the fan base, by the way, is very young. I mean, I was like 12 or 13 years old at the time, and very young fan base, like impressionable young preteens for the most part, go in to see this movie. And by the way, I mean, the Transformers cartoon on TV is a non-violent cartoon. I mean, yeah, there's battles and stuff, but no one ever dies in those cartoons. For years, we had 3 seasons of Transformers on TV. No one ever died, ever.
Yeah. It was like G.I. Joe, or they all did think of a cartoon that's that same era, where they all managed to parachute out of the airplanes when they're shot down.
Exactly.
Nobody in Cobra ever actually dies. They all parachute away.
And similar with the Transformers TV shows, like right before Optimus Prime and the Autobots take out the Decepticons for the last time, they like get ushered away in a wormhole or something. Can't recall what they used to call that. I was a big fan. Anyway, when we went into the theater to check this movie out, this was the movie of movies for Transformers fans. We were waiting for this with great anticipation, all chubbed up, and here's come the movie at us. Within the first 10 minutes, they killed all of our characters, all of them, like not just 1 or 2, dude. And I mean, the way they killed them, like they didn't just get choked out or something, pleasant like that. No, this is brutal destruction, like point blank to the head.
Oh yeah, that's how Optimus Prime dies. Like Megatron is looming over him and is like, I waited 10 million years for this moment.
Yes.
It's over, Prime.
By the way, voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
In this movie. Actually, I'm wrong. It was the original Megatron's voice, but when he is transformed into Galvatron by Unicron, Leonard Nimoy. It's Leonard Nimoy. And Unicron, by the way, just more trivia while we're at it, is Orson Welles did the voice of Unicron in that movie. Yeah. Very powerful voice, director of Citizen Kane and all, considered the best movie by a lot of filmmakers of all time, though his career was largely ended post Citizen Kane, because what that movie did was criticize the largest media monopoly of his time, and the person that owned that media conglomerate made it his mission to destroy Orson Welles' career, and he succeeded. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that's why you didn't hear much from Orson Welles through the years.
Yeah.
Until the Transformers movie in 1986. So anyway, yeah, our expectations were subverted like crazy, man. I mean, that theater was full of tears. Kids were like wailing, dude. It was incredible. Yeah. It was incredible. And then, you know, they didn't know what they had. See, and this is Disney and Star Wars as well.
Well,
they didn't know what they had.
Then the new line of toys clearly flopped because they tried to do like this half-assed Return of Optimus Prime special episode.
They did. I remember that. And, and by the way, if you haven't seen it, there's this old YouTuber was called Dr. Smoove, Smoov.
Oh, Smoove.
Yeah, Dr. Smoove.
Sounds like a PUA name. Dr. Smoove.
Who knows? He might have been in the Twilights, but in the daytime, he made YouTube videos. And this guy made one of the funniest ones using the footage from that Return of Optimus Prime. Of Optimus Prime. So do a YouTube search for the Rude Awakening of Optimus Prime. One of the most hilarious YouTube memes before there was a such thing as YouTube memes. Anyway, this movie, it kind of crushed our hopes and so forth. But, you know, we went along with it afterwards. Okay, Rodimus Prime, the new characters. You know, I did buy some of the toys, but it wasn't anything like it was before, man.
It wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. And you know, I was like the Star Wars fan that's like, well, you know, The Last Jedi's okay. I mean, yeah, it wasn't bad. Like, I mean, you know, they gave Luke Skywalker some time on screen, and that's what we always really wanted. And, you know, and just denying all the I was like that. I was in denial. And but I guess because emotionally I had already experienced this and been through it before when I experienced it once again with Star Wars, I was not about to be like the passive, just kind of simping along behind the franchise going, well, it's all right. Yeah, I mean, you know, these writers they got to have their freedom to write their story. You know, it's just so pathetic, dude. I was not having it. But anyway, you know that. Now, you and I, we differ on The Last Jedi, but that was not because, you know, we're both coming from the exact same place here. You know, I'm coming from the place of Star Wars changed my life. Star Wars gave me a reason to live when I had none. Star Wars was the thing that kept me going. You know, when I was a kid, we, you know, it was like, the mom got divorced and remarried into the Air Force, and we moved over to Portugal when I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of a rough situation to pull 7-year-old out of the life that they've come to know and to uproot all that and to change it dramatically. For me, I had seen Star Wars when I was 6 years old. And when I moved to Portugal, I won a drawing contest, which gave me this audio cassette radio play of Star Wars. Even though I had seen it in theaters once, I was a little too young to really fully grasp the story. But a year or two later, as I'm listening to this audio cassette tape till it basically falls apart, Star Wars was the thing that really saved me, you know? And through that process, I became a much more creative person. You know, I learned much more so how to escape to a galaxy far, far away rather than to be in class paying attention and so forth.
Yeah, and lit your own creative spark, like you said. So it has, I mean, I think for a lot of people, it has that kind of a personal meaning.
It means a lot. And George Lucas is like family to me, you know? I mean, like as the creator of Star Wars, I couldn't hate the Phantom Menace too much. I had to say it slowly because my mouth wants to say the Fandom Menace.
Yeah.
Because that's all I've said for the last 3 years, it seems. But the Phantom Menace perplexed a lot of fans, you know? Like some people hated it, but it was coming from the creator himself, George Lucas. I couldn't hate it, you know, because it's coming from the creator. This is the story he wants to tell. He's not Rian Johnson. Ryan Johnson does not have the permission to do that shit. Not from George Lucas. From Kathleen Kennedy, he does. No problem. So he did whatever he wanted to do all over the franchise. But that's not what happened with the Phantom Menace. That was George telling a story. And whether you liked it or didn't like it, this was the story he wanted to tell. And as the creator of the franchise, I think that's the way it's supposed to work. Now we're living in a day and age where corporations buy up these franchises from the creators, and then they just do whatever they want to him, even right in the face of the creator while he's still alive.
Yeah.
And Star Wars, my God, that's the one that really gets me. But I'm a fan of Doctor Who too, And
yeah, I'm way behind on Doctor Who.
Did you hear what they did? All right, here it is, man. Season finale, I think.
Look, I know the gist of it. I've like looked at reviews for the season, and just I don't know, not in a hurry to watch it, but yeah, I get the gist of it.
You understand?
I've been spoiled enough. Yeah,
you understand that the white male Time Lords stole this technology.
Yeah, from a little black girl.
From a little black girl. Yes, the original Time.
I know that's apparently the twist at the end of the season. Yeah.
What is it, man?
Oh.
What is it? And there's so many of these characters. I haven't seen it. Admittedly, I haven't seen it. I quit watching basically halfway through Matt Smith's season. It just became a little too much of a kid's show for me at that point.
I loved the Matt Smith era.
But now I'm going back to watch all of this Matt Smith era and love every last minute of it compared to what they're giving us now. Because I haven't watched any of that crap.
You know what? Like I've said about like the original Star Trek and a lot of other things, I don't care if there's a woke, political message to it. It's a matter of is it well written?
Right, exactly. That's the thing. When I first
I don't want to be beat over the head with things. Like I don't even want to be beat over the head with libertarian shit. Like I'm a bad libertarian. I don't like Atlas Shrugged. I don't like Atlas Shrugged because she just beats you over the head with everything. I think The Lord of the Rings is the great libertarian novel, not Atlas Shrugged.
Oh, really?
Think about it. Oh, yeah.
Huh, I'd never heard anyone say that. That's interesting.
Much deeper understanding of things.
But not The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I've not read that since I was a kid. I'd have to go back and read all of those again.
No, I only mentioned it because they were like competing
intelligently.
They were like competing movies for a little while there. In fact, there was, what was it? Harry Potter. There was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe trilogy. I think they may have made 2 or 3 of those. And then there was the Lord of the Rings movies. And they were all kind of coming out around the same time. And I swear I was getting all the characters confused in my head and the storylines. It was all like one thing that I found it really difficult to separate. Just it was blurry. Just too many centaurs and CGI, I guess.
There aren't any centaurs in The Lord of the Rings.
There's not, but it seems like there should be. No. But The Lord of the Rings is amazing. I really got to check that out again. The movie version, and then there's Picard. We got to check in on Picard.
Picard's coming along just fine, honestly. Like,
are you all caught up?
Yeah, I'm all caught up. It's coming along just fine.
It's coming along fine.
Well, it's not like it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen or anything, but it's not some, Voyager or Discovery level mess either.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well,
it's really good right now, with potential. I mean, we'll see where it goes. It's not fallen prey to the curse of season 1 of many other Star Wars series that are awful.
The curse of Kurtzman.
Yeah, season 1 of Next Generation being notoriously bad.
That's has nothing to do with Kurtzman.
Yeah, no. But
can't blame him for that one.
No. season 1 of Deep Space Nine being the weakest season of what's arguably the best Star Trek series. I assume season 1 of Voyager is bad. I don't remember. Every season of Voyager is pretty weak. But and season 1 of Discovery was not as bad as I feared, but it's nothing I'm rushing back to watch again either.
They've completed season 2, I thought.
They have, and I haven't gotten around to season 2.
So you really liked it a lot, I can tell.
That's how amazed I was by season
1. Woo!
Whereas Picard, as of right now, when season 2 comes out, I think they've gone ahead and they're cleared for a season 2. I will definitely watch it.
Okay.
Unless somehow the last 3 episodes of season 1 or whatever we have left are just
they haven't finished the season yet.
No, I think we've got 3 episodes left.
Okay. Well, I may be able to actually catch up and finish the season with you. I'm going to give this series the ultimate test.
What's that?
My family and I used to love The Next Generation in the late 80s. We would come together as a family once a week and watch that. And really, that was the only thing that could get us together as a family for the most part. And so my family really has this fond memory of The Next Generation. So as this live stream, my mom, who's a big fan of CBS soap operas, has the CBS All Access pass so that she can check out, I guess, The Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives.
Or whichever one it is, yeah.
Yeah, whichever one it is.
And start from the beginning. Talk about just fandom binge watch. Never mind, watching Doctor Who from the very beginning, Star Trek from the beginning of the original series all the way up to Picard.
Right, that'd be kind of an effort.
Yeah, imagine being like a Days of Our Lives fan who now has CBS All Access and says, I'm going to watch Days of Our Lives from the very beginning. Look for continuity errors, plot holes. Everything.
I don't know. Did it ever have a beginning? It feels like that show has been with us forever. I mean, it's just always been, and it always will be.
Oh, steady state universe.
No, I mean, it's like, seriously though, it's like 40 years or more of
it must be
content, just daily content. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's not any soap opera conventions or anything. I don't think the level of the fandom is quite to the extreme that these other franchises have experienced.
Okay, so Days of Our Lives.
I could be wrong.
Oh wait, Days of Our Lives is on NBC. Okay, we're getting them all mixed up here. Days of Our Lives began in 1965. Wikipedia tells me.
Okay, so man, over 50 years ago. That's crazy. Yeah. And so it must be The Young and the Restless that Mom has the all access
let's
for.
See.
And I've asked her several times to give me the passcodes so that I can log on and watch this stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's great. You can use it. That's great. And then she never sends the passcode.
Yes. Young and the Restless is CBS. All right.
Okay. So it's Young and the Restless. That's
Young and the Restless began in 1973.
What? I thought that was a newer one. Well, I mean, I guess relatively speaking, it is newer.
Yeah. Yeah, newer than Days of Our Lives. So number of episodes, 11,000 as of September 1st, 2016.
Holy. Wow.
So imagine
binge that.
Young and the Restless fan. I mean, I don't know if all 11,000 episodes are on CBS All Access. But,
yeah, I wonder. That's interesting. Wow. And what kind of server farm do they have to host?
Being the hardcore Young and the Restless fan who's going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, that's going to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Back when Vic was 10 years old. Okay, now he's like the oldest guy on the show. I don't know.
Oh, geez.
Victor. I know that much. I know that much.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's the ultimate test. Mom has the password to her account, and she's keeping it close to her vest, apparently. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be driving out there shortly, and when I get there, I'm going to have the family sit down, and we're going to watch Picard together as a family, just like we used to do with The Next Generation. and I will let you know the results.
Nice.
Hopefully,
looking forward to it.
Hopefully we're all like, hey, this brings back some of that old feeling. Wow, this is pretty good stuff, man. It's great to be back on the horse with Jean-Luc Picard again.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what I have to report. I just don't know if maybe I'm asking too much. My dad back then, I think his attention was a little bit, Father God's attention back in the day was really good. He could watch hours and hours of television, but these days he needs a commercial break like every 5 minutes or so. Just getting old,
Yeah.
But I'm going to sit down with the full Trinity, Father God and the Holy Spirit, and with Virgin Mary, my mother.
And everybody's going to watch.
I'm going to invite the saints, not the football team. The ones where we, have parts of their bodies and stuff stored in our cathedrals in New Orleans. And I'm just going to see how long we're able to sit through that marathon and so forth. And
make it so.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh, man. Well, I was going to mention Homeward Bound, but really there's only one thing to mention. Get woke, go broke. Pixar has done it. They have done it. And who would have thought? I mean, arguably they did it with that movie Brave that I didn't see, but they didn't name it Brave and Stunning. So that wasn't fully woke.
So how do you make Homeward Bound woke?
Yeah, so there's a gay character or something in the movie.
Okay.
And so apparently a group was started called Million Moms that probably has like 3 people in it. But they've named themselves Million Moms, and they raised some hell online about the gay Homeward Bound characters. And movie isn't doing so hot for a Pixar film, for a Disney flick. Those kid movies usually do pretty well. And now we can always point to and say that it has nothing to do with get woke, go broke, and has everything to do with the influenza kegger.
That could be. Yeah, nobody's going to movies now because Dos Equis.
Because those kids, instead of going to the movie theater, they got to stay home because there's something on tap. And that something is going to make you cough. And it sounds a little bit like something that reminds you of Budweiser. So that's not child appropriate. It's not friendly.
No.
So Homeward Bound has been canceled in the culture war, apparently.
Oh my.
So, and that's pretty much it as far as the culture war check-in. I mean, I don't have anything to add because I haven't seen it. And
neither have I.
Not really planning to. I've pretty much canceled not just things that have gone woke. The rest of 2020, for the most part, in my thinking, is canceled.
Oh, geez. I hope not.
Well, really, if you think about it, like, I'm not going to any shows. Definitely to go to any kind of grocery store is going to be a rarity and something I'm just like, I'm in and out, and I'm not messing around. Not messing around with this thing, dude. I really don't want to catch it.
Yeah.
But if I do, or if you do, just be of good cheer, because the survival rate is more than 90%.
Yeah, so that should not keep us away from Rise of the Resistance.
No. Well, they kept enough people away just by the shenanigans they were pulling with the fan base, calling them racists and sexists and so forth. That's, as far as that goes. It's funny how these days when they can't seem to connect with a fan base that's been with them for decades, that it's the fan base's fault.
Yeah, it's not that, heaven forbid, a movie might be bad, and that's why people don't want to see it. It's no, it's a toxic fan base. It's this very like entitled mentality. Like we are entitled to have people come see our movies and say they are brilliant. And
Yes.
if anybody disagrees, like the flaw is not in the movie. The flaw is in, these terrible people who were entitled to their money as they come see the movie.
You were exactly right. And that is, there was even an article this week that makes that very case. But, the reality is it's the filmmakers and producers who are the entitled ones. They're not entitled to my money. They're not entitled to my affection and my love and these things. My love and affection for Star Wars was not a guarantee forever.
Yeah.
But they thought it was. They were the entitled ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, my friend.
All right.
Guess we've been going for 2 hours now, and that's the longest stream we've done so far.
Oh, it is? Oh, wow.
Yeah, totally.
Well, there's a lot to cover.
We're full Yeti at the moment. We were 2/3 Yeti
yeah.
A little bit earlier with Justice. Hopefully we can get Justice Yeti'd out.
Yeah, go 3 Yetis.
Yeah, exactly, man. It'll be the full Yeti Trinity. And I love having these times together, even if it's just once every couple of weeks or once a month in this last case, so that we can cover all the things that we tend to cover in our own personal private chat on a daily basis anyway.
Yeah.
But these are things that I think are important to get out to the community. And so for all of you that are listening now to the replay, just want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Want you to keep yourselves safe out there. Don't panic. It's a little late to be preparing. You're definitely not a tinfoil hat wearing early prepper like I was, but it's not too late. The best thing you can do is get in contact with the people you love, the people that you have some respect for, people that have resources and that you that can help you out and you can help them out as well. The people that are in your life now, these probably be the people that are going to be in your life through all this. And so don't take any of those relationships for granted. Try to make amends and reconcile where you can. And just get in touch with the people and let them know that you're still there and still kicking, and together you're going to make it and survive. Any final thoughts or anything you want to plug, Darth Yoda?
Nope. Just, wash your hands, people. Fist bump.
Wash your cell phones.
Yeah, wash your cell phone.
It's sanitizing wipes is how you get that done. Don't literally stick it in the sink underwater.
Yeah, no, that'll kill your cell phone.
I mean, they say that the iPhones are water resistant, but my iPhone's been cracked on both sides, so I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Funny looking back on 2020, and these last several years, my modern smartphone, the only thing I'm going to remember is like a totally broken screen, because that's what I've been staring at for 2 years. It's incredible. Anyway, my friend,
nice.
It's been really great talking with you. Man, take care, and let's do this again sooner.
Absolutely. Than a month. Yeah,
than a month. Yeah, totally.
All right.
And with that, we will end the stream. Take care, my friend.
All right. Good night.
Good night. I don't know if we're still streaming or not. I'm trying to end this broadcast and keep getting an error from StreamYard. I'll try again now. Ending broadcast. And we're still live. This is incredible. Wow. I've got you all to myself. All 0 of you watching. Let's try this again. End broadcast. Okay, I think I may have figured out a workaround. So I was trying to end the stream through StreamYard, which is a third-party utility that we stream through. And now I am on YouTube in the streaming section. I see that there is an end stream button there. I'm going to attempt to end it on the YouTube interface right now. So if successful, we'll see you next time.